to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com. What is this? This is our daily brief. This is our free little quick blurb about the market for our, what do we call this? This is the 6th of March, 2024. So marching our way. No pun intended. Through the month of March. Of course, we've got the Ides of March coming up here in the next week or two, which is often a bit of a pivot. If anything, we also have on our celestial guru on the site, Cole, coming on our Friday broadcast to talk to us a little bit about the pending eclipse window. I think that's the end of March and through April. And of course, you've heard me bark plenty about Bitcoin topping, usually about a month or so ahead of the halving event. And if anything, I think we got a little bit of a warning shot there yesterday that markets never move in a straight line forever. We all know that. And if anything, the Beamish, of course, actually, I really haven't been doing too much of it lately. I probably should, but we're banging out just a ridiculous amount of doubles on our little altcoins, and that in itself is usually a tell that we're probably getting near the end of some sort of run. And I think we even made a joke that the poop, the old expression in the market is the poop always rises last. And we saw Luna actually starting to rally yesterday. So there you go. Perfect analogy. But a lot of the little poop coins and a lot of these SOL names that I'm having fun on as a nice little demonstration. We'll do it again. See if we can ramp $500 up into hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have crossed the $1,000 mark. So things are progressing basically right on schedule. And of course, good old Sjord, CTO of TRI. Right now, he's got his hands full because clearly something has broken with the breadth indicator. And now he's just like on all hands on ship as soon as I got back from our El Salvadorian adventure. Mind you, it was also a really cool car ride up and down the coast, I will say. I don't know whether the public can hear you when you talk, but Chris and I actually drove from Seattle down to LA. And I think you enjoyed that car ride, didn't you? I don't know. I know Liam loves his car rides. Chris, did you like your car ride?
It was a great car ride. Can't say that it was a bad one. It was a good time.
Yeah. It was quite memorable. We got to at some point get together and put together all our pictures and videos and stuff because we have some really cool footage. Anyway, point of the matter there is back in the saddle. Clearly noticed something disconnected with the breadth indicator, and unfortunately, people who are actually risking their hard-earned money on this system. We've said repeatedly, I like to use the breadth indicator in conjunction with trading setups. I mean, nothing really changes with our education program. You should have 3 reasons to justify taking a trade. You should be managing risk. And for God's sakes, don't risk more than 5% of whatever your stake is that you have to work with on any single trade. Having said that, could you use the breadth indicator as your indicator confirmation? Sort of rule number 2? I think so. And I'd also make the argument too, unfortunately, like I said, the breadth indicator is a little bit sick and Sjord is working diligently on to figure out what the hell broke. And we have determined that indeed something broke. This isn't actually a correctly operating indicator. So he is super swamped with. I looked at the data that he's sifting through, and it's just absolutely insane trying to go through all the data. These silly computer programs. Keep in mind, we're following the breadth of 500 stocks. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, point of the matter there is Mr. Sjord has been also managing a fundamental portfolio for TRI, investing fairly sizable assets on the fundamental side of what he likes in the marketplace. And gee whiz, they're one of his names is breaking out to new all-time highs as we speak. This RNDR just looking so powerful. You want to see how high these markets can go? This is a logarithmic chart. This happens to be like the Tether Binance chart. I mean, I don't know what you're going to use to measure performance. You can see how we are probably going to flirt up with these 2.618s right now in some sort of cycle pivot. But you can see the next stop on this adventure. Keep in mind, this is a log scale. Next stop on this adventure is up in the $70 area. And I actually do like that kind of thinking heading into the latter part of this year, maybe even into 2025. We got a pop up top there. So Sjord's doing very, very well in his analysis. And actually, we had a great conversation in the TRI after party yesterday, Tuesday, being Sjord Tuesdays, Panic Cook Tuesdays. So maybe tune in for that if you want to join the site and check out what he had to say yesterday. Although the Beamish did talk quite a bit yesterday, so I do know that there are some people that are like, "Oh, why you talk so much when Sjord's on? We want to listen to Sjord. Shut the fuck up, Beamish." Anyway, so point of the matter here is, oh boy, I barked endlessly last year. Get your shit together. Get your act together. Get your plan together. Get your capital together. Just get your plan together. And you can already start to see that the market is doing its thing. And if anything, our number one job, I mean, look at that 2022, 2023 turn. I mean, this is so textbook. It's ridiculous. Beautiful W's. Reload zones of market structure tags, and then another reload zone, market structure tag W's. This is everything I'm trying to teach you people. But the problem is you can't come in on the buy side now. What are you, crazy? I mean, you just can't do that. You do that and you might have to sit through a period like this, or probably more, this particular cycle, probably more a period like this where you're sitting underwater for 6-8 months, and eventually the market will turn higher. As I showed you on that higher time frame analysis logarithmic chart, this thing's pointing. I would not be surprised if this darn thing's $100 a coin here in the not too distant future, especially with the ways things like Nvidia and stuff are acting. So there's the state of the market. Yes, we're in an absolutely insane bull market, but does that really justify coming in on the buy side here and now? I don't think so. I mean, you can. It's your money. You do whatever the hell you want with it. I'm here to try and help you people. And I'm not going to tell you what to buy or sell. What I'm just going to simply say is, would I go and buy that there? No fucking way. I just wouldn't do it. Sorry. If I did want to buy, I'm the type of guy. I mean, maybe you wait for a consolidation like this to pull the trigger. Bullish bots. You've heard me talk about trend continuation trades. But with a chart that looks like this right here, right now, you could very easily see the market come right back down, eat tails, right? And come back to this pretty significant low to high trend line. I think this is an important pivot line on the market. Also notice too, look at, we banged into 4.669s and notice 2.618. Oh, that just happened to be the low from the other day, roughly speaking. So could we easily roll over and come back and visit this tail? Wicks and tails like to be eaten. You've heard the story countless times. Easily. So just be careful here with your hard-earned money. If you're going to come in and spend money in the market now, you have to acknowledge that you're coming in very late to the story. It's just the way it is. What's going on in the market today specifically? Well, it's all about your friend and mine, Mr. Jerry Powell. I haven't really heard too many people go, Chair Powell, I want to have your baby. Chair Powell, you're so awesome. I guess before I got the video going, all right, your friend and mine, Mr. And it's so funny listening to these Democrats. If anything, she's kind of like, I'm long Bitcoin. You better not say anything stupid, you stupid politician. This guy, he used to be the chairman of this committee. We're in the middle of the Fed's Reserve semi-annual monetary policy report. Fascinating how they don't even call it by its original name. It used to be called Humphrey Hawkins, but it's weird. Like in this woke world, I don't think you're allowed to actually say old politicians' names. So anyway, in years gone by, it was called Humphrey Hawkins. But long and short of it here, all the politicians, and they're so stunningly partisan. It's just absolutely insane. Now, you tell me, I mean, just between you and me and the fence post, is this really this lady's real hair? I mean, that looks like such a wig. That's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. It has nothing to do with markets and trading. Probably going to get myself into trouble with the woke community of the world, but that just does not look like her real hair. It's almost funny. But anyway, that's another comment altogether. If anything, looking at Jerry right now, I get the impression that he's feeling a little bit better. Remember in some recent FOMC meetings and stuff, he was looking really disheveled and looking really old, like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Actually, the economic data that's coming out of the States these days, I don't see anything for anybody to really get too disturbed about. And what's going to probably happen in here is they're not going to touch rates. Bank of Canada got together today, and of course, everybody and their brother in Canada, especially like the housing market in Canada, is screaming for them to cut rates. And they actually started to like get some traction. Hey, well, these Bank of Canada guys, they are going to cut rates, right? And all that kind of stuff. And instantly, the housing market all of a sudden just took off again. But we've had this conversation at length. I mean, why is the inflation problem the way that it is? And it's nothing to do with, I listened to one damn partisan politician down there in the States, and you all have to learn to just tune these idiots out. But this doofus here, he sat there and he actually for like 5 minutes went on about how, well, the reason why we have inflation is because Russia has invaded Ukraine and wheat prices are going through the roof. Did this guy even bother pulling up a wheat chart here? And oh, by the way, wheat prices are the same as they were for basically, you could actually go back and say 2014. Wheat prices are basically at that same level, And so the irony of all of this is that there is no price inflation from the war that Russia is, blah, blah, blah on Ukraine or whatever. And also, too, it's kind of interesting that even through this whole war, Ukraine's still producing just a bucket load of wheat. And I actually saw this one meme, I don't know, whatever, what do you want to call it, of just absolutely insane amounts of wheat that Ukraine's dumping on the European market. And of course, anyway, it's here and there. The Poles actually went and opened up all the cargo doors of the train, and you just like literally have a train that's a mile long with every single cargo door open and all the wheat all just pouring out of the train. I mean, the world is swimming in wheat. So it's so ironic that this guy was specifically told convey a partisan message that inflation is not because of the stupid money printers. Inflation is because of Russia, invading Ukraine. And the irony of it all is that, there's not really much else that Russia and Ukraine do other than produce a whole shitload of grain in the European breadbasket. And wheat prices are basically where they've been, like literally in the past 20 years. All of this price inflation. And more importantly, and this is the shitty thing about our society, have you noticed that the grocery stores have reduced the price of your loaf of bread at the grocery store of late? I keep a damn close eye on things like bread prices. And of course, every time I'm at the grocery store, I'm bitching and complaining to the managers that they're all a bunch of crooks. And the long and short of it here is that the grocery stores are not reducing the prices of bread, even though you could actually make the argument that bread and wheat prices are basically back where they were prior to all this bullshit about the Russian invasion. So partisan politics, trying to spin as many ways as possible to confuse the public. And let's throw in Russia and their war in Ukraine on it. but it's total bullshit. I mean, it is a complete lie. And I mean, I go on and on and on about this, but nobody, well, I'm not going to say nobody. There we go. So 15 minutes. Actually, geez, yeah, about 15, 20 minutes. I also would make the argument too, and I'm actually encouraged that more Canadians are now actually starting to acknowledge the fact that our previous prime minister said that this stupid idiot Trudeau just wasn't ready for running a fucking country. And stupid statements like, well, the budget deficits will just take care of themselves. That is completely irresponsible. I mean, that's just it's well, I mean, it explains the world that we're in right now. And I would also say too, and this is the worst part about this, is that this politician that's in charge of my country right now, he doesn't understand that he's just being played by the banksters. And what does that image look like? Well, this is your inflation. It has nothing to do with Russia invading Ukraine. It has everything to do with just absolute runaway money printing. And, literally, there's the size of the economy. This is the Canadian economy. So just even since 2018, prices literally should be twice as much as what they were prior to this scamdemic. I mean, that's the brutal reality of this. This is your Klaus's Great Reset nonsense and all that. So I guess the point of the matter here is listening to the Humphrey Hawkins testimony. Did hear one gentleman I had posted in the TRI lounge that actually tried to corner Powell and say, look at, it's one thing to have rising prices in crises, but those prices should come back down to earth. But you basically said to the public that the prices will never come back down to earth. And the reason why they will never come back down again is, as we've said, it has everything to do with the money printing. And, at least the Americans, their money printing has actually gone sideways here. I mean, you can't undo this damage. They are trying to get a bit of religion here with their money printing. And if anything, this is the whole Powell has been raising interest rates and reducing the balance sheet of the U.S. Federal Reserve, blah, 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 blah. And things are sort of stabilizing down in the States. But I'll tell you, in China, there ain't no quit here with this inflation. And so it was interesting how, people in the public have been like barking about how they really, really, really want to have, prices come back down to earth, and maybe even a little bit of relief from the Fed and all that kind of stuff, and they're just not getting anything, and they won't because the money printing just won't stop. So in the face of that, the Canadian interest rate policy, I would even argue that this could even tick up here. Although my hunch is, given sort of the wonky situation in the Canadian economy right now, we'll probably just see these guys just maintain their rates. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the Americans just maintain their rates. And that's basically the message coming out of the Americans. I think even the headline here this morning, Fed is in no rush to cut rates. And the irony of it all is that this is exactly the message that I've been telling all of you guys for a while. So, I mean, if you actually did listen to the Beamish, I've been showing you this chart repeatedly over the years. I mean, there's nothing new going on here. I think, especially with the fact that we're into a political election window here, I think that we're probably going to do something similar along these lines, where they won't cut rates until probably after the election. And then, considering that policy is relatively restrictive, you can see where we are in the sine wave. So we are in the trough. This is business as usual, but they don't want to be seen by the public as affecting the election. So I think they're just going to try and do their best to do absolutely nothing over the next 6-8 months. Well, wouldn't surprise me. And then because of the restrictive policies, and there'll probably be some sort of crisis that develops, we'll go back into them lowering rates. But I don't think you should be expecting it to happen until after the election. That's my 2 cents there. So if anything, in this kind of environment, how high is high? As I had said, and we'll finish off the broadcast with this, we have been painting And I, made about 3 or 4 different arguments as to why I think that we're probably pretty close to some sort of pivot here in the market. I have the eclipse window coming up here, and I think the eclipse window actually set the base of this rally. This is always very esoteric, and a lot of people will debate this. The damn planets and the moons and stuff, they don't affect our behavior, but you'd be surprised at how much they do. Anyway, like I said, we've got Cole coming on the broadcast on Friday, so maybe get yourself set up on the site, even with the 30-day trial, so you can listen to his broadcast. It should be a really interesting conversation about the upcoming eclipse. Then I made the argument with you guys that, here is technically our halvening event. It's somewhere in this window. And markets usually like to top out about a month or so ahead of the halvening event. Thought it was really cool. I even went and found the Litecoin price action, and this was absolutely stunningly cliche, the way that this played out this most recent cycle. So here is the Litecoin halvening event. It is still POW. And you can see that's very similar to that price action that we saw in 1516 out of Bitcoin, where the market tops out about a month ahead of the event, and then it kind of goes sideways, and then there's one more final dump. In Litecoin's example, we actually did dump all the way back down into reload zones. I don't know whether we're going to get that out of Bitcoin. As I've sort of pointed out, and in the 1516 market, the dump was nothing more than just a 50% retracement. I don't know if this is the high or not, but you can see we're still quite a ways away from that 30-day window. I guess I don't have it on this chart, but oh yeah, here it is here. So, there is 23 days, and that was the 1516 peak. So are we done here yet on this push higher here? I don't know. I don't think so. Usually you get like an initial dump that, of course, caught a lot of people off guard. And I think this had a lot to do just simply with the test of the previous highs, that weekly chart, liquidity event. Also, too, notice like we're right around that 2.618. There's also an 877 in there. So it does make sense that the market's going to get a little chaotic in here. And of course, there is our, 5 weeks prior to the halvening event kind of sort of, mental kind of where does the top eventually come in on Bitcoin? I don't know whether it's going to look like this or not, but I do like the idea that there is some sort of pivot trying to form here. And I've said to you this before, if anything, believe it or not, the market pivoting off of this level here actually is pretty normal. This is what's called an alt AB equals CD. I've told you also before that if we do get that 1.618, that's an absolute no-brainer short. But quite often we'll get pivots at 1.272. It's not out of the ordinary. I guess the question really right now is, do we have bearish divergences that maybe should be sort of flashing warning signs that, at the very least, maybe just cool your jets while we go through this window? And the answer, unfortunately, is yes. We do have bearish divergence. We have divergence in buying volume. We have a divergence in MACD in RSI. And our rule here is that when you do see the first M on an RSI, especially being overbought, at the very least, if you're a bull, just cool your jets. I mean, this isn't a sell Bitcoin. But going in and buying Bitcoin and, buying a lot of, if you happen to see your particular cryptocurrency that you like looking like this, maybe that's not in your best interest. So the warning signs are there. We do have location. We are starting to get indicator confirmation. We don't have any price structure just yet. Of course, I'd like to see a big fat M come in here to actually say, the top is in. But at the very least, Willie being stupid the way that it is, more anecdotal evidence is building that we're getting awfully close to a top. So just understand that. It makes perfect sense. And the worst part about all of this is as we're coming into this very cliche event here, 1 month ahead of halvening events, market going parabolic into the event, market getting overbought on the momentum indicators, market flashing divergence, coming into the eclipse window, blah, 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 blah. what a surprise. The public is starting to say stupid things like, well, this time it's different. And I've told you all before, if you start hearing people talk like that, that's actually ironically one of the criteria that makes this actually very cliche and very business as usual. Is the public has to, at the end of these moves, come in and say, no, 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 this time it's different. So anyway, there's your report for the day. It's about 20 minutes to a half hour. I am trying to get these things a little bit shorter. But of course, Brian loves the sound of his own voice. So I hope you got some value out of that. It's a cautionary tale. Make hay while the sun's shining. I mean, there's some beautiful little altcoins that I'm having fun with. We'll leave off. This little demonstration portfolio is a lot of fun. We basically doubled it. So I'm feeling like we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing. And, there's some really cool little trades. Like this is actually what we call a shark setup, where you have like nice market structure that's come in. You draw your fib, 78.6 lines up off of that market structure bottom, and you just go throw your bid in. I actually missed the buy window previously, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw my bid in, see if I can grab some of this. And sure enough, I got filled yesterday, when the market was kind of puking out there, broader market. And you can see maybe we formed nice little railroad tracks. And if this thing goes and W's out here, oh boy, I mean, look how far this thing's got to go. And if you don't think that these things can pop up here, look at this silly wife. This is exactly the same thing, but this wife is after the facts, right? So the Yodo is current. There is the wife. This is exactly the same image, and look at what it did. So this is why we play the venture cap market, because you get these absolute insanity. And really, I don't want to think. I just want to try and force myself to come in and buy against the bottom ends of ranges, reload zones, all that kind of fun stuff. Don't break the 5% rule. And then, of course, when the market goes stupid, just make damn sure every time the asset doubles, out goes another half, out goes another half, out goes another half. Make money from trading. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Let's go ahead on over and have some fun in the after party. Maybe we'll go through this list, and we haven't looked at the SOL names. I gave you a little hint of something that I'm buying here, but of course, caveat emptor, I'm never going to promote what you should do with your money. I'll tell you how to play the game. I'll show you the rules. If you want to follow the rules, great. Let's go have some fun in the market. If you don't want to follow the rules and you want to ignore Brian, then I can tell you, I know one guy in particular, I've been working with him for 10 years now. He doesn't follow the rules. He completely ignores everything that I teach everybody, and he's having a bit of a tough time now. So, do as you please. I can, as good old Ross Perot once said, I can lead you to water, but I can't make you eat peanut butter. All right. Have yourselves a great day. Hugs and kisses. All the best. And mwah! Bye for now, you badass motherfuckers.